Let me just preface this by saying this. I have absolutely no problem with interracial relationships. Now that the air is clear, let me continue. My daughter, Anna, has recently started to date an African-American man, Jamal. While I'm not exactly what you would refer to as liberal, he's a nice young man, and as long as my daughter is happy, I'm happy. The problem is, Anna is rather naive about the community she lives in. While her friends are quite content to see a relationship like hers, more than a few tongues are wagging in the community, and a few people have privately expressed their concern to me. As I said, I have no problem with mixed relationships, and I've set them straight, but I am painfully aware of how these matters are viewed by certain segments of the population. My parents are planning to come and stay with us for a week, and Anna expressed a desire to introduce Jamal to them, now that things were getting more serious between them. I told her on no uncertain terms that this was going to happen. I may have no problem with Jamal, but they absolutely will. And even when the relationship ends, they won't forget it. They might even go as far as to cut her off entirely. Anna was extremely upset by this and implied I was a racist and more concerned with what my parents think than how she feels. As I said, I know my parents. They simply aren't okay with mixed relationships, and if Anna were to bring Jamal over even as a friend, they would be furious both at her and me. Anna is currently staying with Jamal and doesn't want to speak with me right now. My wife stands by me, given she knows very well how my parents are. They had a problem with her for months over the length of the skirt she wore when I introduced her to them, for Christ's sake. But a close friend I confided in told me that I have behaved like an ass, and I needed to focus more on my daughter than pleasing my parents. No advice needed, but I have to know. Have I been an ass? You know, I've had a couple interracial relationships myself, and one thing that I noticed they all have in common is they all have that family member who I would like to call a closed closet racist. Like, they have their point of views about it, and, you know, I'm not saying that they're wrong. Look, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Particularly in America, you can feel however you want about anything. My thing is just don't enforce that onto other people's, which is my biggest problem with this decision to tell her absolutely not, do not bring him over. I didn't like that. But I also think that, back to the whole closed closet racist thing, they have their own feelings about it, but they don't want anybody to know that they have feelings about it. I believe he's projecting. I believe that he is just afraid of being embarrassed because his daughter is dating a black guy. That's his bottom line. Like, in his town, he can't control it. People know about it, and he tolerates it. That's basically what he's doing, is tolerating their relationship. And now that he's being faced with his parents, it's a whole other thing. It's like, you know, letting the cat out of the hat or the box. I don't, you know how the saying goes, but I think he's more concerned about, he said that he was concerned that his parents would cut her off, but I think he's more concerned about his parents cutting him off. And I also didn't like the fact that he said, and even after they break up, they're still going to give them shit about it. But why are you so sure that they're going to break up? You know, I think he just thinks this is a phase. And I hate to be the one to tell you. I hate to be the one to tell you. I hate to be the one to tell you, my man. But this is the problem that isn't going to go away. Because everybody in the world knows what happens once you get a taste of that sweet, sweet chocolate. That's right. Once you get a taste of that sweet, sweet chocolate, there is no going back. So you might as well keep this one. You like this one. He's a nice guy. He's probably as dark as he's going to get, because if they break up, chances are The next one's going to be even darker, maybe. So count your blessings. Forget your parents. It's all about the fact that you said earlier, as long as she's happy, you're fine with it. They're just going to have to deal with it, especially when you all are going to have those mocha grandkids. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I don't think he's a particularly bad guy for how he feels. I just think he's kind of a bad guy for, like, no way you're going to do this sort of attitude about it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Until next time. My daughter is 3 and sometimes gets scared I'll stop loving her when she does something bad. For no good reason, mind you. I make sure she always knows why I'm upset and that I'm mad at her actions, not her. Today she bumped a glass off the table and started crying. She asked if I still love her and I said, I love you more than anything, and gave her a kiss. My wife was watching and stormed off. I made sure my daughter was fine, cleaned up the glass, and went to see what was going on. My wife was crying and calling me an asshole who doesn't love her. I guess I have 2 irrational 3-year-olds now. I said of course I love her, and asked why she was wigging out. She said because I said the above phrase to my daughter. It meant she didn't mean as much to me. Is that really something I'm supposed to say? My mother said it to me, and my dad didn't freak out. Wow. All I'm going to say is that your wife is clearly a psychopath. You share a bed with a maniac. You and your little girl better watch your backs. I'm not even kidding. This sounds like the first 5 minutes of an episode of Snapped. I got married on Saturday, and it was absolutely amazing except for one thing. My parents showed up late. They knew the ceremony time. My husband and I made it very clear to everyone, both in the invites and in person, that we were going to start exactly at that time. The venue cost us a lot of money. We paid for the entire wedding ourselves, and we were only able to use it for a limited amount of time. So we wanted to make every minute count. So the wedding day came, and half an hour before we were scheduled to start, my parents still hadn't showed up. My husband and I both called them multiple times, but nobody answered. We waited and still heard nothing. Finally, the start time arrived and my parents still weren't there. I was really pissed off at this point. The wedding coordinator asked if I wanted to go ahead and start the wedding, and I said yes. All of our guests were already there, and we wanted to be considerate of their time. My parents showed up 15 minutes later and missed the entire ceremony. It turns out they did leave early, but got rear-ended at a traffic light and had to deal with the insurance, police, etc. They only have a landline, no cell phones, so they couldn't get in touch with me. Obviously, there's no way I could have known this. I am still frustrated with them for not making more of an effort to get to the venue early, and they're furious at me for not delaying the wedding 15 minutes so they could be there. Am I the a-hole? First, people's time is important. You got all those people there, everybody's ready to go, and I get why she was disappointed that her parents didn't arrive. What I don't get is why, after finding out that they were in a car accident, she's still upset about it. That I can't get behind. I mean, accidents happen. It was nothing that they could help. And on the parents' side, I get why they would be upset about missing their daughter's wedding. But, shit happens. Shit happens, and it apparently happened. There's nothing to stop them from having a small personal ceremony in regards to her wedding. I don't get it, there's just bigger things to get upset about. It's just move on. My opinion is move on. So you guys let me know what you think down in the comments. I mean, do you think everyone's overreacting? Whose side are you on? If there is a side to be on. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more or simply like to support my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out. Until next time.